The book I studied on this topic was one recommended by Sol Rosenberg 84, which he used to reduce his depression. A similar meditation my girlfriend also happened to be using with tracks she got offline. The book and audio are published by Mark Williams and Danny Penman, and Dr. Williams is from the University of Oxford, just so people know I'm going with legitimate sources and not tons of quackery I had to sift through with self-hypnosis. There is a quick link they have in the book if you want to buy or borrow it to all the audio techniques. I'm not going to post the link, one, because I want people to buy the book or go to the library more, and two, I could get in trouble for copyright violation. fMRI has shown that the lighting up of the left prefrontal cortex corresponds with a person's happiness, and the right is linked with more sadness or depression. fMRI shows that there is a very high success rate after using the 8-week mindful meditation technique, switching the primary use from the right to the left. On top of all the other benefits mentioned in the last video in this series, it has also been shown to cause an antibody boost, as empathy and lowered cortisol are very good for the immune system. What people are generally unaware of is that there is usually a vicious cycle of problems. A study using computer analysis showed that depressed people have slowed pace and slouch more, while people who are happy move more and stand up straighter. When generally happy participants were required to sit more slouched with slower movements, they ended up feeling less happy. And when more melancholy people were required to sit up straighter and forced to smile, they actually felt a bit better. This doesn't mean you should go around telling people to smile, that just makes the inner beast want to do it less. Unlike animals, who usually don't think about stress when it's not present, humans have imagination and can cause themselves panic even when no danger is present just from speculation. Your thoughts affect sensations. You think about something you're worried about, and so you tense up. This physical feedback affects your feelings and impulses, your fight or flight responses, and your emotions lower, making you less happy. Quite often, this goes back to affecting your thoughts, and you wonder why you aren't more happy, and your brain tries to work to logically figure out how or why it's unhappy, using its brain power, then comparing its happiness levels to better times, making the cycle cause even more franticness and unhappiness. You have to learn to stop chasing your tail. The low happiness cycle can cause self-abuse and discontentment. If your first reaction is anger, it can create a blind rage, blocking outside-the-box creativity. All options will close off to you, and you will beat your head against a brick wall trying one way over and over again, making yourself even more frustrated. You have to train a natural alarm to go off, that other alternatives may be available when you get stuck. Being tired and hungry will do this as well. Most people don't stop and consider, maybe I'm just hungry. Most are just feeling awful and either blame themselves or the situation. The book tells of an old story of a child with a stubborn mule. Nothing he can do will make the mule go. His grandfather comes out and tells him to stop. Then the grandfather puts his face next to the mule and looks down the road to show it where he wants it to go. A minute later, when the mule is calmed, he starts walking, much to the boy's delight. Much of our life is like that. Instead of learning the mechanism of our mind and how to get our inner beast to do what we want to, we beat it up. We compare ourselves to others, which makes us despise ourselves even more. And quite often, the comparison is actually wrong because we perceive others as better than we are. If we don't ignore or rationalize our ideal to our real self, we often attack ourselves because we compare our ideal to our real, and it's never there. We beat ourselves up, making it worse, ensuring we will never get where we want to be. My shrink told me that I thought too black and white, so I was never content. That I should take my ideal and move my expectations toward the center. After achieving that, then I could adjust it further. Look on things as they are, not as how you think they should be. One of the key components of mindful meditation is accepting reality even if it's painful. Quite often your brain tries to fight or ignore pain that you have. It seems counterintuitive, but trying to fight or ignore the pain often uses more brain energy, preventing your brain from processing and adjusting to the pain. Pain is a strange creature, and your perceptions of it is seriously affected by your mood. A soldier shot but not fatal, with a ticket to go home after serving his country, will feel a lot less pain than a person with liver cancer who may or may not survive, even if it would be normally the same pain level. How much of which emotion the pain is linked to and other factors will affect how the pain is perceived. Mentally resisting the pain can often cause the pain to hurt worse, than accepting and acknowledging the pain, freeing up brain space. However, our superstitious wired mind naturally often assumes that if we resist it and try to ignore it and believe it doesn't hurt, we can magically make the pain go away. Fighting uses more energy, accepting is power-saving. Acceptance, instead of using judgment, is not fatalistic, though many may be worried that that is how it works, so they often never think to do that. Focusing on the future and how things should be is important, but focusing on how things aren't too much can wear your brain out and lead to burnout. Another important issue is the effects of memory and ties to negative and positive emotions. As I discussed earlier, locations, objects, and habits can all tie to memories, either positive or negative. As it turns out, memories can have an effect on accessing other memories. Negative thinking makes it harder to access good memories, and dreams of the future making being happy or positive thinking even harder. The book discusses some methods for breaking routines and doing things to be able to better access new memories and make it more difficult to access negative memories. An interesting fact found is that negative emotions often make you more susceptible to bias and believing what is told to you and follow the group. With less energy, you can't take your time as much and your brain jumps into automatic thinking and takes shortcuts. Of course, often the depression comes because you are the only one who's trying to think beyond your own natural biases. Most people don't know how to adjust their mood depending on the situations. So when they're in a good mood, which can be rare, they don't use it to look at painful issues that need fixing. They just go brainless. Many people often use alcohol this way as well, causing a lot of problems. Fixing it would cause a lot more long-term happiness, but right now they just want to be happy. Also, since they can't adjust their mood when they finally pull themselves out of a bad situation, their brains can't adjust to the lack of stress, so they make more drama, sabotaging themselves and their potential happiness in the process. Another side effect is after the stress is dropped, their attention to detail can also drop due to the lack of cortisol that they've been reliant on. The only way to counter this is, say, more sleep, more rest, and maybe a bit more caffeine to get yourself more focused. This lack of attention to detail can often sabotage the great advances you've made so far. Also, they've been beating their inner beast so much, they don't feel like they deserve good things happening to them. As many people don't know how to maintain their mental health, most often, later in life, psychological problems are caused by a lack of maintenance. In the past, only elderly people had depression. Now 10% of the population has it. Many will never learn to use their own mind to its fullest potential, so they'll reach a point where the potential for depression can occur, such as feeling trapped in a lifestyle or financial woes. That's when they mentally break. I apologize for just talking about meditation without actually teaching you the process. Unless you understand why you're doing it, then you won't be able to use it very effectively. In the next video, I will finally actually discuss each week of the meditation used.